Hi and welcome to another video in the Ravenblack Application Analyzer video training series. In this video we're going to look at SmartView Perspectives and how the tool can help you working with perspectives as they're applied to the system, and particularly as they may use web reports widgets. At a system level, you can open the analyzer, and we've provided a perspective aspect, particularly to allow you to look at a system level at all of the perspectives on the system, as well as all of the widgets that might be used on any given perspective. Here we're seeing the new type of perspective that is in more recent versions of Content Server. The tool supports the older version of perspectives, which is basically the active view object. Either one will work with the tool. A more common use case is one where you might have been working or have a problem with a particular smart view in a particular location, and here we're looking at a business workspace. And if we wanted to get a sense of perspectives being applied to here and what was going on, we might open the analyzer directly from here. And it automatically mounts this particular business workspace with all the information about that business workspace, as well as all of the content shown on the left-hand side for that business workspace. The section here that is most useful in this case is Object Overrides, which shows you for any given area in Content Server any overrides that are applied. And this would also show for classic Content Server any active views as well as any perspectives. And you get information about the perspective here and if there was an expression or rules applied. But more usefully, you can mount that perspective, and that takes you to the perspective itself. And under there is listed all of the tabs for this business workspace, and for any given tab you can see any widgets, any web reports widgets that have been applied. In fact, in this case we have some of the same web reports being used in a couple of different places on a couple of different tabs. And we can look at the context there. This shows details of the perspective itself. It also shows all of the workspaces that for which this particular perspective is being applied. And if we then click on a given web report within that perspective, we can see details of the widget itself, including any parameters that are passed to the web report. And in this case, that's what makes these web reports different. They're both dealing with different parameters from the perspective, which sets it up to do something different. Parameters can also be explored from the normal web reports parameters tab, which shows any parameters that are used in the web report. In this case, it's also showing if these parameters were used in the perspective. Of course, when you've selected any web report within this perspective, you can look at the content of that web report, and you have access to all of the features we discussed in the editor video. And naturally, another thing we can do with any web report in this tool is to mount it. This then shows us all of the software relationships for that web report. And if we want to, we can look at it in this mode. So it's showing us for this web report, it's calling 4 sub-web reports. And if we expand these, we see that some of these sub-web reports are in turn making client requests. So that's HTTP requests, could be AJAX requests usually. So we can see all of the different components that are involved in this particular header. And that, of course, will help us if we're trying to troubleshoot the problem. And we can select any of those, and again, if we select a particular web report, we can look at the content, or we can inspect it. And now we go back to the vertical view, and so on. We can then go back to the perspective and continue debugging elsewhere. That brings us to the end of this video. As usual, if you have any feedback, suggestions, or questions, please contact us at one of the coordinates listed on this slide. Thank you.